So you have found the perfect home and you're ready to make an offer. Congratulations. Yes, this is very exciting time, but we need to step back and become objective, not too emotional. Because when you make an offer and start negotiating, you need to rely on the facts and not emotion. And I'll help you do that. I don't want to take the fun out of it, but we need to keep our emotions in check and focus on the end goal. This is not about your feelings or ego. Don't let the small stuff get in the way of what you really want. But the first thing we need to do is trust your realtor. Look, you trust that your dentist knows what they're doing when they work on your teeth, and you trust a lawyer when you hire them to work on your will or trust, just like you hire an accountant for your taxes. Well, when you are buying a home, you need to trust your realtor. They're an expert on the home buying process. They know what it takes to make a successful offer, and they have your best interest at heart. Think about it. They don't even get paid. I don't get paid until you get the keys to your dream home. So I want to do everything I can to get you there. You're probably very smart and good at what you do, but when it comes to real estate, making up a good offer, coming up with the right strategies depending on the market and that specific home, you need to trust me and hire me for what I'm good at, and that's negotiating a good offer. For one thing, I know you'll understand there's different market conditions and they require different strategies. For example, in a seller's market where demand exceeds supply, the competition among buyers can be very fierce. Sellers have the upper hand. The home will sell very quickly, sometimes far more than the asking price, and you'll find yourself in a bidding war. In this seller's market, as a buyer, you have less negotiating power. So you need to make an offer, in this example, as attractive as possible. So I may advise that you remove certain contingencies like the inspection period, like the financing or the appraisal. And we would discuss that and decide if that's a good option for you. You could also make an offer for over the list price, but that could affect the appraisal. We'd want to talk about that. You may want to make an offer for the house and take it as in, requesting no inspection, no repairs. One thing that I do in this competitive environment, and anytime I make an offer, I call the listing agent and I get a little information about the owners to find out, when would they like to close? Okay, what's important to them? Maybe they would like to close and rent back because they're building a new home and it won't be ready. So I try to find out what is the seller's hot button so we can take that in consideration when we're writing an offer. In a seller's market, and when you're writing an offer, you need to trust your agent on this. In a competitive market, your first offer has to be your absolute best. You don't make a lowball offer. You need to make an offer based on the market conditions, the home's value, and what you can afford, okay? And if there are 7 offers on the table and your financing terms are not favorable, we may need to be more aggressive in our offer. So on the flip side, when you have a higher inventory of homes on the market and the average days on market are high, then it's a buyer's market. There is an oversupply of homes. I think it's a little bit of a buyer's market here in Wesley Chapel, and less demand because there's a lot of new construction. That's my opinion. Prices are a little more negotiable. I always review the price history to see on a resale home if there's been reductions, when they were made, what was the reduction. I also like to see, was the house pending and back on market. So I want to see the history of the home. As a buyer, you always have room to negotiate the terms. You can request repairs. You can ask for credits toward closing costs. You can also ask if the seller will pay the buyer's agent's compensation. In a buyer's market, you may get more house for your money and better terms in this market because the sellers are eager to sell. And basically what I mean is maybe you can get a little bigger house, and because sellers might be willing to negotiate. The good news is your agent will be able to tell you exactly what kind of market we're in and how that affects our offer and our negotiation. They'll help you navigate the current market and make sure that your offer is competitive and fair in the market that we're in. Of course, this means that you have to work with an experienced local agent who knows the market, who knows the absorption rate, and just knows what is going on in the market. Your buyer's agent will be able to analyze comparable sales to discuss and present a fair price recommendation. We'll consider factors like the home's condition, the location, the upgrades, the views. Is there a pond view? How does it stack up against other properties? What has recently sold? And also, what is currently on the market? What is the current competition? So keep in mind that once your offer is signed by both parties, you're under contract. It is a legally binding agreement. If you back out, you could possibly have legal or financial consequences. So your broker and your agent should help you understand all the language, all the terms, exactly what you're signing before you sign. The bottom line is you get the best possible results when it comes to making an offer and negotiating when you have a realtor by your side that you trust, that provides good professional advice. And when you're making these decisions along the way, you want to keep a clear head and keep your emotions in check when it's time to negotiate so we can get the best house for you for the right price. I am Robin Savota with eXp Realty, and I'm opening doors to your next home.